Hello everyone. So I hope you are doing good and safe at your homes. Tech and Foray is back with another video to enrich your knowledge for cloud and other important aspects to design a solution. This time I have created a video which is very important to create diagrams, and this is important because whenever you are creating some solution, it's very important that you should create a diagram for it. And diagram, I mean to say the solution components. In this video, I'll guide you like the importance of diagrams that needs to be created, and the need for diagram, why you should create these diagrams, and who will be benefited for this creating the diagrams. It's your benefit also, like when you're creating some solution on the cloud or anywhere, just create your habit that you should create first create the diagram, and then start implementing or configure the solution. It's very important. Again, I'm stressing on it that while doing anything, creating some design, create the high level solution design of whatever you are doing on the cloud. Let's move forward, and let's see why diagrams are important and why it should be created. So the importance of solution diagrams, the agenda will be like high level of the solution. These diagrams shows the high level of the solution, and you will be able to understand the solution components and traffic flow. Components like there are different components like network, storage, firewalls, internet gateways, and regions, availability zones, and different subnets, networks. When you are creating a solution diagram, it shows all the different components and how traffic is flowing between these different components, and it's very easy to understand the flow or traffic flow, the solution components of the diagram of the network architecture that is there, or solution architecture that is there. So from the diagram you can easily understand that. And also placement of solution components, how the different components are interconnected, dependency of the solution components, how each component is dependent on each other, and what all ports are allowed. So also by using these diagrams, it helps to plan long-term strategy, like if we want to add something next year, or after 2 years we will add this and we will place that here, and that will be our extension area. So that's how we can plan our long-term strategy for our business, for our IT infrastructure, or for our network infra or storage, whatever we are planning in the long-term strategy. From these diagram, it's quite easy to plan long-term solution design. Also, in case there is some problem, it also helps in troubleshooting of the problem. And also another important aspect that the audience, while creating your diagram, keep in mind the audience to which you are showing this diagram, whether it is technical audience or whether it is business audience, or what kind of. Accordingly, put the information in the diagram. So that's very important. The first aspect, understanding the solution. So using these diagram, you will understand the high level of solution, and as I mentioned before, you will be easily understand the solution components and how traffic is flowing, what all traffic is allowed, and between different components, what all ports for the solution components are allowed, and you can easily understand the clear picture of what is being allowed and what's being denied. So for the ports, you can easily understand the traffic flow, the ports that are opened, and the solution components. And if we talk about exposure to internet, you can also understand what our ports are allowed towards the internet, towards internal systems, or towards different subnets in the network. So you can, from these diagrams, you can easily understand what all is exposed, what all ports are allowed, and how these solution components are placed in the network, in which subnet, or on which zone they are placed. So network or zones or subnets, they are same thing. So these are created to segregate different networks. So when we are segregating the networks, we can understand how networks are segregated in the solution architecture, what all different subnets are created and network zones are created. So either it is subnets or network zones that we can understand from the diagram. And also when we get the information about what all ports are open and exposed, we can see how subnets are secured, and we can get that information, which subnets are public, exposed over the internet. So we can see just by the glimpse of the diagram, so we can understand what all subnets or ports are allowed. And the interconnectivity of solution components, how different components of the architecture are interconnected, what all traffic is flowing, and which solution component are connected to which solution component. So in detail we can get, and what all dependencies are there, while sometimes we are changing some component in the solution architecture, or making some bigger changes or small changes, and then we can come to know what all ports are allowed. So it's really beneficial while you are creating the diagrams. So because if you see the corporate networks or bigger industries, there are quite complex components in the solution architecture, for network storage, for database, for applications, for services. So it's quite beneficial if you have a proper diagram with proper information. So once you can start creating simple diagrams and slowly move towards creating complex diagrams. So the benefit is for you and for the person who is reading the diagram. So create a habit of creating the diagrams. Again, I'm stressing on that. So these really, the diagrams helps us to understand the solution architecture, what all is there. So that's really helpful. So moving forward, also when we are planning long-term strategy for our organization, addition of more business services while we are expanding locally, or to another part of the world, or where we are expanding. So we can, when we are expanding our business, or then we have to see integration with existing components, the expansion area, how it is being integrated. So all that we can understand from the simple glimpse of the diagram that is there. So it's quite beneficial when we are expanding and understanding in integration with existing components. So there will be more benefits also, but these came into my mind, and I try to create awareness for that. And when we are planning some change, or troubleshooting when there is some problem in the network or any component of the solution, then we can suppose we are planning some change in the infrastructure or network component, then we can refer to these diagrams, all the information that is there, and accordingly plan the change, what all components will be disturbed and what changes are required, so that we can, after implementing that change, we should not disrupt any service or create any problem with the existing service. So that these diagrams helps understand how we are going to plan the change, and what all changes we need to make, what all different components in the solution that will be disturbed. So we can plan change management using these diagrams. And in case there is some incident or some problem, so by referring this diagrams, we can easily understand where the problem lies, whether it is network or with some storage or with some security. So by understanding what are ports that we had defined in the diagram, ports towards which components, by so by looking at the diagram, we can easily understand and helps us to troubleshoot the problem when it arises. And also, when we can easily solve the incidents and problems in the network, that minimizes the downtime in the network. So the more information is there in the diagrams, so the minimum downtime will be there in the whole service. Also, when there is minimum downtime, then increased availability of the services from all perspective of the architecture. So we can plan the changes, we can easily troubleshoot the incidents, and we can minimize the downtime and increase the availability in the service offering of to our clients. So see, there are different benefits for the diagrams that you created, and the information that we put correctly in the diagram, so that again helps to troubleshoot and maintain the availability of the service. So in the end, I would suggest that while creating your diagram, you need to keep in mind or create different diagrams while presenting that diagram to audience. So accordingly, keep that information in the diagrams. Like if we have technical audience, they would like to deep dive into the components, what all components are there, how they are connected, firewall rules, or these things we can show to them. But in case the audience is business audience, they are not interested in that much technical things. So they want to understand high level of the service components. So we should not show that technical things in the diagram when we are presenting the high level design to business audience. So it's very important the content that we are presenting, and what all we need to include in that. Maybe we can create different documents also, like a detail level diagram or high level diagrams, and according to that we can keep that information as per relevant to whom we are presenting that document. So keep that in mind. Main thing that I want to communicate is that while creating any diagram, keep in mind to whom you're presenting it, and who will be the audience for this diagram. Accordingly, present that diagram and create separate diagram for technical audience and for business audience. So that's main objective. And also one more thing that I want to convey is that while creating your diagrams, get it quality checked from your peers, so that what you are presenting, is it understandable? uh, the thing that you want to communicate, is it correctly mentioned, or there is some gaps, or the audience will not be able to understand. So get it reviewed from your peers, that what you have created, and you can present it. So just first quality level check, you should do that to just make sure that what you are presenting, it should be understandable. So just ask your friend to review this. So that's quite easy. Or send your diagrams to mentors or to your guidance, and understand the thing. So while creating the diagram, you can also send your diagrams to me. I'll mention my email ID in the end, so you can send your diagrams to me, and I'll review and help you to create your diagrams. So in this video, in the end, I'll show you to create this simple diagram. This is just, this video is for beginners. So in this I have created for AWS Cloud, and I'll show these components in the diagram. So we will cover in, I'll show you how we can create this diagram, and we will cover the AWS services in the diagram, like the VPC, the AWS region, and the networks, network subnets, and routing tables, the virtual firewall, which is called security group, and access to internet gateway. And we will show like how these components are placed, because it's very important to understand like how components are placed. So, by looking at the diagram, you can easily understand how different components are placed, what's the outer region which is inside that, and how different networks are placed in the VPC, and what all routing tables are there for different subnets, and what all virtual firewalls are enabled for this. So you can see that and create this in your diagram. So in the demo, I'll show you all the, we will try to create this, and you can start creating your own diagrams. So it's really interesting to create a diagram, because it shows you what exactly you are implementing, and this picture gets more into your mind while creating or implementing anything, because a picture is more than words. So this will fit easily into the mind to understand the things. So just follow these guidelines, and then we can create interesting diagrams. So don't worry if you are not able to get exact things, you can easily improve it. So right now I'm just creating basic components. Slowly in my coming videos, we will create more complex diagrams. And if you want to create these components on AWS, I'll mention the link that how you can configure these components. So my suggestion is that first create the diagram, then move on to AWS cloud to configure these components in the cloud. So it will be very interesting. So let's get back to let's create the diagram. So for this, I have installed this software Draw.io. So you can install this on your laptop and select more by clicking on more shapes. You can select any cloud components that you want to create diagram for, whether AWS, Cisco, GCP, Azure. So you can select any one out of it and create the diagram. So here I'm showing the demo for AWS cloud. So let's create a diagram for AWS cloud. So by starting with the AWS cloud, let's create the diagram, and this is the outer region for AWS cloud. And in AWS cloud, we have different regions. So as I have shown in my videos, also in the demos, I have shared it that AWS cloud has different regions. So in each country or different regions, there are there. So for this, I am taking example of Mumbai region. So AWS cloud has a region in Mumbai. So I have we will include that in this diagram. So as per your availability to your nearest region, you can select that and create your own diagram. So for demo purpose, I'm using Mumbai region, and accordingly you can configure that. So in regions, we have availability zones. Sorry, not availability zones. In the region, we will create the VPC. So select Mumbai region, then we will define the VPC. So VPC, let's create a VPC hyphen Mumbai, and let's define the network 10.0.0.0/16. So let's make it a little bit more and readable. Okay, let's change the color as well, black one, so that we can easily read it. So also before creating the diagram, also plan what networks you are going to plan and what are these subnets that you're going to plan, and accordingly. And also one more thing that I want to convey is that the naming of the VPC and subnets, plan that as well, so that it should not create confusion while you are moving towards complexity of the diagrams. So here I have kept VPC, I'm creating a VPC in Mumbai region. So I have kept VPC hyphen Mumbai 10.0.0/16. So in this VPC, we will create public and private subnet. So let's create public subnet. So let's put one public subnet. Let's rename it PS hyphen inside VPC Mumbai. And let's define the network 10.0.1.0/24. So that's how we define the subnet. Let's define another subnet. private subnet. So let's rename this privs-vpc-mumbai 10.0.2.0/24. So that's how we have renamed our networks. Let's make it bold. So you can see how we have defined it, and after this we need to define the routing tables. Let's create the routing table out of it. Select title and let's create a table of 2. So that's how we are going to define the, let's keep the name for routing table as well. So we need to define the routing table for subnets to allow what all is allowed for those subnets. So let's rename it RT-V public subnet-VPC-Mumbai. So we are creating this routing table for public subnet which is in VPC Mumbai. So for this, for the routing will be like for local 10.0.0.0/16. It should be routed locally only. Local. So that's how the route will look. So currently we are adding for local only. So let's add defined routing table for public subnet also. So let's rename it PRIV, private. So again, to reach to local subnets in this VPC, you should go local, not any outside. And let's define the security groups, the virtual firewalls, title. So let's define it, and we need to control the access also. So it's very important. So this is how it looks. Let's change the color to red one. Okay. So in this, we have mostly this is general information that I'm going to put for understanding only. The rule ID. Then we have to mention the protocol, the ports, port range or ports. Port range we can mention, and then we have to mention the source, then destination where it is allowed, and then action. So let's rename it security group for public subnet for VPC-Mumbai. So whatever it's placed, all the compute that's placed in the public subnet, these rules will be implemented on that. Let's create Control-Z. Create the security group for private also. So this is how the diagram will look like. So let's define the internet gateway. Let's go to network components. Server, storage, networks. So here we can select the network, cloud directly, API gateways, networking. So this is the router, and this is the internet gateway. So these are all the icons that we can use in network services. So once we will create more complex ones, so we will use these icons. So for the time being, let's use the internet gateway. So if we see practically, we are going to attach this internet gateway to the VPC. So let's attach it. IG internet gateway hyphen VPC hyphen Mumbai. So let's make it a little bit smaller. So this will be attached to VPC. That's why we are placing it over the edge of VPC. And let's connect over the internet. Let's get the internet icon. So this is our internet. So from this one, let's create connection towards internet. Let's go to arrows in the AWS. This one. Oops. So this is going like this, connection towards internet. And from public subnet, we will go towards internet gateway. So we are connecting public subnet towards internet gateway, and internet gateway is moving towards internet. So to achieve this, we should add the routing table of the public subnet. So we will update over here 0.0.0.0/0 to anywhere it should refer to IG hyphen VPC hyphen Mumbai. So to go towards internet, it should route the traffic. So that's how we are updating the routing table. And in the same way, you are going to update the routing table while implementing these network components. And where these security rules will come into picture. So when this infrastructure is created, then we will place some components like suppose when you are placing some compute into the public network. So like if we are installing some Windows Server 2019, so we will place one server in public subnet. So to access this one, some user that will be accessing it, let's place that illustration as well. So suppose these are the admin users of a company. So they will access it over the internet. Let's put the arrow. So from here, they will access this one. Sorry, start drawing. So they will come over the internet towards the AWS cloud, and through internet gateway, they will access the Windows server. So to allow this access, how you will define it, rule ID 1, protocol. So we will connect this Windows server over RDP 3389. Sorry, protocol will be RDP, port range 3389. Source anywhere from the internet can access it, /0. Destination are public subnet PS hyphen VPC hyphen Mumbai, action allow. So whosoever wants to connect this server, the admin groups, they can access it. And also, if you want to publish any website over the internet, so you can add another rule, like let me add one, insert row after, okay, rule ID 2. So if you want to allow like HTTP port 80, and here source will be PES-VPC-Mumbai. So towards internet 0.0.0.0/16, sorry, 0 action allow. So here to outside and from inside, we need to allow HTTP port from this side and also from inside. So that's how we can understand and allow different security groups on this. And for this private subnet, what we can do is we are not exposing this to internet, so we will not update the routing table for this. And also this is not directly accessible from internet. So to this, we will access from public subnet to private subnet only. So that's how we can define the rule ID 1 protocol. If we place one machine over here, Control Z. So private, one Windows machine in private. So protocol RDP range 3389 source public subnet -VPC -Mumbai. This means we want to allow traffic from only public subnet. Destination private subnet -VPC -Mumbai. Action allow. So you might have understood like how we are creating these components and updating the diagram. So by creating this diagram, you will get a real picture of what you are implementing in the AWS cloud. So once we move forward while creating all these components, I'll also, if you need help how these components will be configured in the AWS cloud, I'll mention the link in the description. So you can access this link, and you can create this all infrastructure over the AWS cloud, and also create this diagram. So it's quite interesting and really easy, and a lot of benefits are there for creating the diagram. So I hope I have helped how to create interesting diagrams, and you can easily do that. So we have created this diagrams. Also, we have added the compute part, and also I have shown how you can update the rules of the virtual firewall. So you can do that easily, not a problem, and you can create this infrastructure over the cloud. So I hope I have added some new thing into your knowledge, and the benefits of the diagrams, the real thing that is conveyed from the diagram, what our benefits are there, and how it will benefit you, and how you can ensure the availability of the services. So in case you have any questions, doubts, queries, don't hesitate to ping me. Also, if you want to send your diagrams to me, I can review those as well. So that's all for this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and definitely this will help you to learn more and more things. So thank you for watching this video. I'll create more videos in future. Thank you. Bye-bye.